It's the Brad and John Show.
Today's date, June 24th. This is the C block, which means we start right around 7:40. As usual, we're a little bit late, mainly because of the fact that John's top three went extremely long this morning. I tried to make up for it in Brad's top three in B block, but was not able to condense the time.
Very good, Brad. Very good.
Okay, John. Now, I will give you a perfect example. Are you ready for this? Or in the last B block, if you go back and listen to B block.
Oh, yeah, I sure am.
People who are listening in the future and maybe haven't listened to the blocks consecutively. This is if Bill Eigel were a smart guy, he would say something like this about the St. Louis area. Are you ready? I'm going to take your headphones off because I'm going to blast this down the line. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
This is Gavin Newsom, and this is why people are flocking to California.
My message to the country is this. We are a nation of immigrants, and America is an idea. Sure, there are a couple of burned cars and people are waving other countries' flags, but that's L.A. That's what L.A. is about. Dance like nobody's watching, love like you've never been hurt, and skateboard like your dad isn't in prison.
Now, if Bill Eigel would come out with a statement like that, people go, man, that St. Louis area, that's a hip place. Let's move there, Elmo. Let's go. And Eleanor,
isn't it amazing what you can do with AI? I don't mean you, Brad Hildebrand, but I mean people in general. So I saw that clip a few days ago, and it's just hilarious what you can do to make it look like somebody is saying or doing something. I saw something, you probably saw this over the weekend too. You spend more time mindlessly scrolling YouTube shorts than I do. And it's a cat like doing some sort of Olympic diving or gymnastics thing. It's just amazing what you could do.
You know what we need to do? I'd probably get in trouble for this. I've got one of those AI transformation programs, and I've only used it once, but that's a whole other story why I used it. But we need to create a Bill Eigel voice, and we can make him say whatever we want. Wouldn't that be fun, John?
Yeah, well, I mean, considering that from here on out he probably won't answer the phone when you call, maybe that's what you need to do, Brad.
But you know what the interesting thing is?
What's that?
I bet, here, this will give you a perfect example. Who do you want to vote for county council? Let's have a poll here right now. So let's say that we've tried to call Bill Eigel twice, and he hasn't answered.
Oh, you're going to mess. God, why are you, like, you know that Mike Elam is probably doing something serious right now to make money, and you're interrupting him.
And any money, this person will answer the phone. We'll see what happens here. You know, I have my pen and my phone, and I can run this show. Mike's not going to answer either. Okay. Well, he had his chance. I'll give him a couple more rings.
That's plenty. He's probably out trying to make money right now, Brad.
He's probably at, like, knowing Mike, he's at like some morning meeting.
Hi, this is Mike Elam.
Of the
Thanks
Elks
for calling.
Club or something like that.
And don't use my name when you leave a message, Brad. Please.
Here, I'm gonna do an AI version of John Combes, and
just say you're on the air with Shelley.
I don't know about that. Okay, tomorrow, I have to say that I am fighting a battle with the Lutheran Church, and tomorrow I will give you. I worked on this, and see, once again, John doesn't realize that what I do all day long. And yesterday was a perfect example that I had to go and do some field testing yesterday, and what's going to be interesting about this is the results of my field testing will be published on the internet. So when someone says, well, I don't think we're interfering with that Brad Hildebrand station. And they say they're listening to my station in a particular area. And I say, balderdash, when I get all this stuff uploaded to the internet, it will be quite interesting.
So you drove around and measured where you could get the radio signal where there was no interference.
I drove around, and here's what I did. I'll come out and say this. I'm having this fight with the Lutheran Church, with the Missouri Synod of Lutheran Church.
Specifically with what station, Brad?
KFUO, the call letters, if you want to look at this online, K283CI, which is their translator on 104.5. I won't go on all the details and stuff like this. I have asked them as a nice person. I've asked them as a fellow broadcaster. I've asked them as a fellow Christian. And what do? They spend hundreds and thousands of dollars of having attorneys answer me back. Now I have an attorney who's answering me back. They're not even talking to me anymore. They're having an attorney answer me back. And they're saying, oh, we're not causing any interference whatsoever. And the amazing thing is, They give a location. I'll just go ahead and tell this story right now. I'll tell the rest of it tomorrow when I get the official thing filed. They tell me in a guy's name is Gary Duncan, who is the general manager of KFUO, in an affidavit filed with his attorney by the FCC, he claims that in the parking lot of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod at 44 in Lindbergh, my station comes booming in. The fact that if you were in that parking lot right at this minute, you would hear KSOQ clear as a bell. So what did I do, John, yesterday? What did I do?
You drove down there and went to the parking lot, I bet.
I sat in the parking lot of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. I tuned my crappy radio, my 15-year-old Ford factory radio, factory antenna. I tuned it to 104.5. And what did I hear, John?
You heard KFUO loud and clear.
I heard choir music and I heard organ music. So what did I do to document this, John? Take a guess.
You got your iPhone out and you recorded live.
Right.
What you took a video of your dashboard showing 104.5 and your location.
I took a video of my dashboard showing 104.5 coming up on the display on the radio. I turned the radio up loud so you could hear it. And then I pointed my camera at the walkway that takes you into the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, where people would walk. And matter of fact, if you walk down this walkway, it's a beautiful building right there at Lindbergh and 44. It looks like some corporate headquarters. It's probably a $20, $30 million building. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. It has a huge parking lot, and there's lots of cars in it. And if you walk into the entranceway, it's this beautiful, monstrous entranceway that, Fortune 500 companies have come to Missouri to look at the Missouri Synod, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod's reception area and go like, wow, we want to have a place just like this. We want to have an entranceway just like this. And if you walk into this place, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and you stand right there in front of the information desk, you look to your right, there's the studio of KFUO, and they're not crappy places like our place. It's beautiful, artistically done, architecturally relevant studio. But yet, they say they don't have any money, and they're spending all their church money on fighting Brad. And I say, guys, and here's the crazy thing about it. I didn't realize this. How many stations in the St. Louis area do they have? This is a question for you, John. How many stations in the St. Louis area do they have that are they're broadcasting the exact same program? They're simulcasting on 5, or I just gave them.
Okay, I was going to guess 2, so I was going to be way wrong.
5 stations. KFUO AM 880, which has a city grade signal, which means it goes way beyond St. Charles County. KXFN 1380. They broadcast all over the place.
Former K Gold 1380 K Gold.
Yes, exactly. That's now Lutheran Radio.
Nice, good for them.
92.7, 104.5, and I believe 106.9. They have 5 different radio stations broadcasting the same thing. And my frustration is, if you know the area out there in St. Charles County, there is a tall tower, been there for a long time, off of St. Peter's Cottleville Road, if you know where it's at. As a matter of fact, there's St. Charles County built one of their towers right down the street from it. It's a 500-foot tower. They are on that tower with 92.7. And they're putting the same signal on 92.7 that they're putting on 104.5, which is interfering with us. I've said to them, guys, pretty please, can you just change the coverage pattern just a little bit? And what do they do? Well, we're operating within the FCC rules and regulations. We're totally compliant with the FCC rules and regulations. In my last complaint to the FCC, I said to them, quote, if you want me to read my quote to exactly?
Yeah, please do, Brad.
Hold on a minute. I will read you. I summarized. This is one of my things I put.
Now, is this a new thing? I don't want to step on your punchline, but did you drop the G word at the very end?
Yes,
is this the same letter that got you applause from 2 of your radio cohorts? Or did you write a fresh punchline?
John, no, this is okay. But apparently, see what I did, and here's how I messed up, because my new complaint back to the FCC, and here's the crazy thing about this is, okay, I understand that the radio business is very competitive, okay? And for the most part, even the staunchest competitors, and I can give you examples of this, Chris Blevins, who is the guy who runs the station, which is the Viper. That's one of John's favorite stations. Chris Blevins is not my buddy, okay? We had some interference issue years ago, and I called him up, and at first he sort of blew me up. Brad, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. And then when I proved to him it was, and this was not on main channel, this was on an STL frequency, and nobody knows what that is.
Okay, go ahead.
It's nerd stuff. But when I finally proved my point to him, I said, Chris, this is the deal. Can you fix this for me? And he checked on it, and he says, Brad, you're right. We'll take care of this. And it went away. He took care of us. Okay, therefore, I ask that the application for license to cover be denied temporarily and ask the license of K283CI to file a modification motion to install a true directional antenna with a more significant null to the west and southwest of their transmitter location. The Lutheran Church Missouri Synod is a multi-million-dollar organization whom could easily afford such a change, notwithstanding this would be the proper and godly thing to do. But you know what I messed up on that, John? You know how,
what's that, Brad?
You know how the Lutheran Church won't pay attention to me?
How's that?
I didn't quote any Bible verses. So,
oh, yeah. Okay. And let's not forget, we don't need to beat this dead horse, but you are a pretend pastor. You got some sort of online thing where you can pretend to be a pastor, right? I'm
not a pretend pastor. I'm the real deal.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay. Was Jesus Christ a pretend pastor? Did he go to divinity school and learn how to be a god or something, or wherever he was?
No, and the only financial difference is I don't think he carried a lot of debt. So, yeah, I mean, I think there are some differences between you and Jesus. Now, Brad, what I love about this situation, I can't say I'm completely upset about it. First of all, I love what you've done, because now to hear our station, you don't have to be just living underneath a tower in Washington, Missouri. You can actually hear it when people are driving. Now, they wouldn't know unless you're pressing buttons, because there's no advertising dollars spent, or virtually no advertising dollars spent to promote our radio station whatsoever. So everything comes down to what I do on social media and on my website. Beyond that, though, Brad, what I do like is that when I'm driving, like yesterday, I can hear in Chesterfield, let's say, or in St. Charles or St. Peter's, I can hear a little bit of church music, and then I look at my dash on 104.5, and it says, exalting the Lord up on high. And then I'll hear somebody really angrily in the afternoon complaining about Democrats, and then my dashboard will say, gutter duck, called gutter duck. And then it will flash back to, oh, angels, we have heard on high, gutter duck. So I kind of like having the juxtaposition there.
But according to...
It's like a remix of Armstrong and Getty in the morning, or Markley Van Camp. You know, we get a little bit of church music mixed in with some anti-democrat.
John, you know what's so sad about what you've just done?
What's that, Brad?
What you've just done is you've essentially personified the problem that I have. The problem is they claim, and see, this was interesting. They claim there's not a problem. They claim, and matter of fact, what's interesting about it is, here, I'm going to pull this up. This is so funny that you, oh, no, I printed it out. It's over here. Okay. Here's their affidavit, and here I'm thinking to myself, they filed this with the FCC, and before you file anything with the FCC, there's a warning that comes up on the screen. You know what that warning says?
What does it say? It says you better not lie, or you're going not only to face prosecution, but the Lord will send you to hell.
No, not in so many words, but essentially says you're filing a document with the federal government, and essentially it better not be crap, is in so many words.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, right?
Declaration of Gary Duncan. I, Gary Duncan, state as follows. I am the general manager of radio station KFUO AM and KXFM AM, licensed to the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. On Tuesday, June 17th, I drove in my car in the areas which Brad Hildebrand had previously indicated to me were areas where he was concerned about interference occurring between K230, 283 CI, and KSOQ. John, what did you just say about you driving around and the signal would bounce back and forth between them and us?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
So, Brad, I would suggest, if you have a way to set up a camera or do something safe that you can operate your vehicle, if you drive north on 141 and then west on 364, you'll hear interspersed in between your station, Westplex Talk 104.5 FM, you will hear it interrupted frequently by church music.
Exactly. Okay, number 3, while listening on the car radio tuned to 104.5, I was able to detect the null, and this is so much BS. There is no null. I would say NFN. You know what NFN stands for?
No freaking nosy.
No freaking null. Signal to the west and receive KSOQ over 280 key to it. And he says, the KSOQ signal could be received as far east as the Lutheran Church's main studio. BS.
Yeah, that's obviously not true, Brad. You were completely right about this.
This is... And the crazy thing about it is, this is a 6-page document filed by an expensive Washington, D.C. law firm. All I ask is to sit down with these guys at the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and say, guys, look, you got 5 stations. You got all this money. You got millions of dollars of money. Can't you just tailor your signal a little bit to the point? And the crazy part of this is a brand new transmitter site they put in. They could have easily put in a new antenna. I met with them for 2 hours back in January, and they told me, oh, we'll put in a new cover, a new antenna, which will not cause any interference to you anymore. And you know what they did? They didn't do, what's that Chevy dealer I don't know, what was his name?
They didn't do JS. They didn't do Jack Schmidt.
They didn't do Jack Schmidt. Right.
And what this comes down to, Brad, if you're a normal person and you're driving in the car, and I want to hear Westplex Talk, or if I want to hear KFUO, unless I knew you and had a vested interest in it, I just turned the radio, because whether I like KFUO or whether I like Westplex Talk, if I hear organ music jumbled in with the talk radio station, I just turn it off. I go to the next station, so it doesn't benefit anybody.
Thank you, John Combest. You have, in 20 seconds of narration there, you have exactly proven my point. In the fact that, and they say, well, there's no problem. We don't see any problem at all. I'm Gary Duncan. I drove around in my car, and I've got these super tuned in ears, and I can hear the null. And the crazy thing about this is, if I sent this to 10 of my engineering buddies, 10 of them would call me back, and when I answered the phone, I'd say, hi. They go, ho, 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 because they would still be laughing that this is BS by Gary Duncan and the Lutheran Church. Yes, you heard me. Their attorneys, 314-280-8880. Don't bother me sending me a cease and desist. Just call me up. I'll come and pick it up, because I'm tired of this. And once again, this is a church that's saying, oh, everybody should be nice to each other. We're promoting the will of God, and the will of God is so important, and love your fellow man, except for Brad Hildebrand, who we're going to screw over, right?
That's exactly how it goes. And if you're driving through the Westplex today, put it on 104.5 FM at 8:10 a.m., and you're going to hear the exclusive Armstrong and Getty remix to Go Tell It on the Mountain.
See, the interesting part of this is, can I do 20 more seconds, John?
Yeah, please.
The interesting part of this is, I have not done this yet, but I've had 3 of my engineering buddies say the same thing. There's provision within the FCC rules and regulations that if I can have listeners who will essentially file an affidavit that they're trying to listen to my station, and they would give a location where they're at, which is in my coverage area, but they can't because of interference from the Lutheran Church, that could do some serious damage to the Lutheran Church as far as their legality, and they may be forced to change their coverage pattern.
Yeah, but would KFUO then, if I wrote that letter, could they block me from dial-up radio?
No, they might block you from going to heaven. They might say, John, you are hereby...
I know the guy that runs Godsquad.cloud. He owns the domain, and he's going to vouch for me.
John, you are hereby relegated to hell.
Or purgatory.
You will never go to heaven because you wrote that letter. John,
I'll see you on Hump Day. Speaking of heaven, I'll see you on Hump Day, Brad.
It's time to go. Talk to you later. Bye, John.
Bye, Brad.